Pucker up because you're in for a real treat today. That's right, it is Labor Day and I have found some pretty great deals, especially on TVs, but let's start off with the single monitor deal that I was able to find. Now, this is a reoccurring deal, except for this might just be the lowest price I've seen on the KTC Mini LED 27-inch HDR 1000 1440p 165Hz monitor. They're pretty good specs. I have reviewed this. It's not a perfect monitor, not quite as good as OLED, but it does get very, very bright, and it does have some pretty good contrast. I believe 576 local dimming zones, which is sufficient for this size, again, to give you some pretty good HDR imagery. Now, normally it is around the $360 price. I believe they're doing a 10% off coupon right now, which does bring it down to the low 300s. And then you might want to check the affiliate link in the description below, which, by the way, every single TV or monitor that I talked about today, there will be affiliate links in the description below, as well as in a pinned comment for your convenience. You might want to check it because I did also see an additional $50 off when I was creating this list. If you do see $50 that you can stack on top of 10% off, that brings it down to around $275. That is wild for this level of quality. If you can find that, definitely a buy all day long. But now let's go ahead and talk about TVs, because TV prices are at the lowest prices that I can recall ever seeing. Let's start off with the craziest ones. First of all, the 55-inch TCL QM7. I am getting this one in for review. I did review the QM8. This is just a version of the QM8, I believe, with just less local dimming zones, so it won't be quite as good, but the QM8 was very good for the price. $499.99 for the 55-inch, $699.99 for the 65-inch, and $999.99 for the 75-inch. Then the 85-inch is just $1499.99, and then the 98-inch does jump up in price a little bit to $2,999.99. That is a little expensive, but for a 98-inch TV, that is way below the roughly, I think, like $20,000 it is for an OLED of that size. Might be a lot of money, but relatively cheap considering the competition. And this is going to be, as far as everything that I've seen, a very competent Mini LED TV. TCL, my one gripe with them is they do appear to not always accurately track EOTF and HDR. It can typically be fixed in the TV, but it does take a little bit of fiddling. But otherwise, these are excellent TVs. They also usually support not only HDR and a ton of HDR formats, but also 144Hz if you want to try and use it for PC gaming. Although in my opinion, OLED is better for PC gaming because of that insane response times. But now let's talk about the QM8. I have reviewed this one. It is excellent. We're talking about $999.99 for the 65-inch. The 75-inch is $1499.99. The 85-inch is actually not too great of a deal, so let's skip past that one. Straight to the 98-inch, which is $3,999.99. Again, a pretty high price overall, but comparatively, I believe this is the one with 5,000 local dimming zones, which is quite a bit. The one I reviewed was the 75-inch, which had around 4,000 local dimming zones, and that one was very good. So I can only imagine that the 98-inch is going to be that much better. Same deal as the QM7, ton of HDR formats, 144Hz, 4K, all that good stuff. Of course, there's always the 115-inch, but yeah, $20,000, I think I'll pass. Now, on to LG. We do have a ton of good discounts here as well. 42-inch at the lowest that I've seen. This is an excellent monitor. In fact, one of my favorite monitors of 2024, and at the lowest price I've ever seen of $1,099.99. That is an excellent deal. 48-inch down to $1199.99. 55-inch down to $1399.99. 65-inch to $1599.99. And then the 77-inch down to $2499.99. And then finally, the 83-inch is a lot more expensive, definitely at $4299.99. But again, comparatively, for the big jump that the C4 series brings, I don't think it's too bad. And this is definitely the lowest price that I've seen on this model. Just to let you guys know, I have reviewed the LG C4 series, and I do think it's probably the biggest jump that they've made to the C series. possibly ever, as far back as I remember anyway. And it's got just everything you need. It's up to 144 hertz now. You get the 4K, a ton of HDR formats, all that good stuff, the newer processors. It's just an excellent, excellent series. One of my favorite TVs of 2024. And then finally, we got to talk about the S90C. This thing just cannot die. It keeps coming back because the pricing is just always so good. We have the 65-inch now for just $1499.99. In my opinion, this thing goes toe-to-toe with the C4 series. You get better color, but I think the C4 is just a little bit better on the software side, so it's a bit of a mix-up there. And this is actually appearing to be a little bit cheaper now, $1499.99 for 65 inches. This is probably, honestly, the best OLED deal that you can possibly buy today. This is just an insanely great price for this insanely good TV. And then the 83-inch, be aware this is not QD OLED for the 83-inch to 65. I believe the 55 through the 77, that's QD OLED. The 83-inch is actually, unfortunately, W OLED, and this would be, I believe, the equivalent to a C3 series, but it is $2,599.99, which is significantly cheaper than the competition. So overall, the S90C is still an excellent purchase in 2024. I'm still using the S90C as my main TV at 77 inches. Absolutely fantastic. Once again, if you're interested in any of these, I will have them as affiliate links in the description below and pinned comment. But that's going to do it for today's video, and let me know in the comments below which TV or monitor that you think is the best deal this year, and be sure to get subscribed for everything display related here on The Display Guy. Whether you're looking to connect a new console, gaming PC, or just need a fast and reliable HDMI cable to connect over long distances, Rupro has you covered with their certified 8K HDMI 2.1 fiber optic cable, available in sizes of up to 50 feet and can deliver a perfect full 48 gigabits per second connection over distances other cables could only dream of reaching. And with 48 gigabits per second of bandwidth, it can easily drive 8K 60 FPS or 4K 144 FPS 10-bit HDR video through its ultra-thin, flexible, and durable housing, and it even supports ER. So if you're in the market for a cable that can drive a beautiful new TV or monitor, be sure to check out Rupro on Amazon today.